Hi, this is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and I'd like to welcome you to yet another one of my videos. In today's video, we're going to try to take one design and turn it into something completely different. So hopefully you find some inspiration in this and that we'll learn something about the process along the way. Alright, so sit back and enjoy. Okay, so this is the bracelet that will be our inspiration today. You may recognize this if you had seen my Chinese New Year's one. It's basically it's a Celtic design, and what we're going to try to do here is we're going to try to create a variation on this, right? So we're going to, instead of making it loop all the way down to the end, we're going to divide it into separate sections. Right now, to do this, I think the easiest way to get the visualization of what we're going to do would be to do this on GIMP. So, okay, so here we have this Chinese New Year one. It's in GIMP. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick the color here, and then we're going to choose the pencil. Size is 20. I think that might actually work. That's a little big. That down just a little bit. And so the idea is we're going to make a segment here, right? Yeah, it's a little sloppy, but I think you get the gist. And then we will have this yellow. Let's grab that color. Or the gold, really, I guess. Take the pencil, and we're just going to make it come right straight through where that center dot was. Okay. And so now we have, actually, grab the red again. And by doing this, you can see that we'll basically create it. Back that up. Make it so that way we can make these segments become the individual pieces. So let's see, let's get this pencil over here. I thought I'd been a little bit more prepared for this, but I'm not quite. So you can see, like, we have an 8, then you'll have this little bit here, then we'll have another 8, and then this one goes right through that middle and right through here. Leaves us with 3 sections. So I think what we will do is switch back to red again, is we will finish it off here back to gold. And then basically, well, let's just do this pencil and just remove everything off of here. Because if we tried to continue one more of these segments down, if we made it 4 instead of 3, I think it'll end up actually being way too long. But I think from this, I think you can kind of tell what I'm aiming to do, and we'll be able to actually do it. So I mean, if you don't quite get it yet, I'm sure you will. It's not going to be that difficult of one. You can see we'll have 3 segments and the 2 X's, and with any luck it will look like this. And take a look at what we have for colors. We have in a baggie here. We have this lovely bright purplish pinkish kind of thing, and I guess I'm going to call this a beige. And let me just kind of show you I can get this to focus on there. This kumi, something my wife made. Whoop. So we can zoom in a bit. I think this really, whoa, that got a little wobbly there. This really makes the thing pop. You don't have to do a kumi, but I think it gives it a really, really fun thing. So basically we're still doing just a a 2-color bracelet with 3 strings each, but we've doubled it up in order to once again be able to have that kumi, and that's the only reason that's even there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this string here, and I'm going to, let's see if I can do this completely in frame. Alright, I'm just going to put it over and pull it up through here and slide that all the way to the top. I don't drag it to the top, I just slide it all the way up and then get it snug at the end. And that way this string is nice and clean at the top. Now mind you, years ago I would just start off my bracelets with going straight into the knots. No, I would skip this part altogether and just lay them out, you know, one color, next color, whatever. And it works. You can totally do that. There's no laws or something. But if you want it to look nice, if you're trying to give the most aesthetically pleasing, if you're just making it for a friend and you know they don't care, so be it. Great, you know, giving them away. That's exactly how I started. Everything I began this craft was about giving things away. Now that I have a shop and I'm doing things where I'm hoping to actually make a few dollars, I try to take these little extra steps to make it really nice. And this is how I'm doing it. And nothing too crazy. Again, it's just take, kind of like doing part of the same lark's head or half hitch or whatever this is, and just bringing it up to the top. And what I'll do is I will do this to the other side. And you can tell, I mean, I just pulled this out of the baggie. This is the way the wife left it for me. She does a lot of the kumis. I find that if I do kumis like for a long duration, that my shoulder starts to bother me, and I think it's mostly because I just never did that repetitive motion again and again. So my body just does not like that. Alright, so this side, it's the same thing. I'm just creating, whoops, gotta really watch the camera there. Okay, I just create this little loop that I pull it up through. Alright, and switch colors. Again, same thing. It's just pulling it up through. It's bring it up without dragging it. And why I say that's a thing is if you drag the strings as you're pulling it up, you're actually wearing at it. If you can imagine, like if there's any kind of a friction or whatever, each time you do that, you're making the string just a little bit thinner with each go, and that will actually come back to haunt you. Somewhere down the line you will be happily moving along and then suddenly snap, there goes your string, and it really it's incredibly upsetting. Alright, so now that we have both sides sorted, all the strings are in their sequential order and ready to begin, we bring the two sides really nice and close together. If you're far apart, your first knot will be really kind of sloppy, and it really sets an off kind of tone for the whole rest of the work, and that being off a bit will actually become noticeable. You'll see it. It's that whole thing about like when you lay a brick, that first one has to be perfect, and then everything else will fall into line afterwards. So same basic principle. Okay, so now we're just going to basically follow the pattern. I don't have it in front of me. I kind of know this one by heart, but you can go to the AKAAWOL.com. I have the patterns there, and you can follow along that way if you choose, or you can kind of wing it the way I do. I'll show you how you really don't have to always look. So okay, I'm going to try to get at this as quickly as possible. I know that my video has been kind of running a little bit long lately, and I got people saying that, you know, maybe they should be shorter. Maybe if you don't take so long, that I'll have more viewers or more likes and things. So if you think they should be shorter, let me know. If you think that I need the time to adequately show everything, just let me know that. I mean, if there's a case for longer videos, then yeah, let it be. I'll make longer videos then. Alright, we have our first row complete. Or 2 rows, depending on how you count this. And now we begin on the brighter color. Now, I know that these colors are not the colors I used when I was drawing this up. I do that deliberately. I know this makes some people crazy, and I'm sorry. But I do it deliberately because I would like to inspire you to the notion that just because you saw a pattern somewhere, or you saw a bracelet on Instagram, maybe something I made, maybe you were looking in my portfolio and you saw it and you thought, wow, that's really cool. I want you to to see it as a pattern alone, not as something that you want to recreate exactly as is, because my taste in colors might be different from yours, and maybe different from your friends. Maybe your friend wants to have something that looks exactly like this, and then so be it. You know, you make something exactly like this. But maybe they like purple more, or maybe they want purple and green, or purple and blue, or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. You know, the patterns don't have to be exact. The colors just represent one specific group of strings. And once you get your mind on that, well, all kinds of possibilities can open up for you. So hopefully I'm inspiring some of that creativity. I know that in the past, like some of my bags I had somebody create their own pattern, their own set of colors, but match the design exactly, from the number of loops to basically how big the bag was. Matched everything exactly, but had their own creation, and it was spectacular. I absolutely was in awe, and loved the idea that I could inspire something that cool. So, all right. So if you watch the Chinese New Year's one with the red and the gold, you will notice that this is looking exactly the same, right? This is so easy. You're just going lefts and rights only. And if you have a problem with that, I do have some tutorials on left and right. To go to the right, it's to make a figure 4, and then pull that string up and through, and then pull it tight, and then do that again. a figure 4 up and through. If you're going to go to the left, it's essentially the same exact thing, just going the other direction. Alright? So it's like a backwards 4. Alright? And so how I do that is I just hold my finger here, and then take my other hand, come around, pull it through. Each time it's twice. Okay. I'm going to stop on this center string. Again, this is just like how I did the Chinese New Year. I'll put a link to that one down in the comment area thing. So that way, if you hadn't seen it, you can go check that out. And now I'm just basically, whoops. One of the things you got to watch for when you're using 2 strings is that you make sure that you grab both of them when you make the knot. So you just got to be a little bit cautious with that. Make sure you draw them both nice and taut, otherwise you can look sloppy. Alright, everything's coming down to this string. So I wonder on the camera, is this looking more pink or more purple? Here, to my eyes, it's such a right down the middle between the two. It's really hard to say what this color is. But cameras have a tendency of really not showing you the color exactly as is, which it does what it can, I suppose. Alright, now we're going to bring this one all the way to the outside. Okay. Now this is an interesting color that I'm using right here. This is, I want to say it's a beige, but there seems to be almost a hue of something else in there. Almost a, kind of almost want to say like a super, super light green or something to that effect. I guess over the years I've gotten kind of particular about knowing my colors, you know, exactly, and trying to, whoop, see, I keep bumping the camera, man. Don't like this particular setup, but it gives me a nice clear shot of the work, so I'm kind of stuck with it at the moment. But yeah, I'm kind of a stickler for these, the knowing my colors, and just every once in a while I get a curveball. And this string I got in a sale, and oddly enough, it doesn't have any of like the DMC numbers with it. So basically, it's take it as it is, and yeah, good luck. I don't even think some of these colors were available in DMC. I had some that actually were glowing under a fluorescent light, so I thought that was kind of fun. But yeah, since it doesn't play well with the others, the gauging is just a little bit off. I do not suspect that I'll be getting any more of that string. It's actually a real thing. You can actually, whoa, wow, really bumped. You can actually have different gauges of floss. So if, let's say, DMC, which is like a 25 gauge, if you try to mix that with either something coming out of China or, I don't know, just one of the other brands, you may find that the other brand is much, much thicker. And let's say you're doing a two color, right? One color, the one color's from DMC, the other's from China. You will notice their whole bracelet looks really wonky. It looks like something that's just distorted in the most peculiar way. And that won't necessarily be your fault. It'll be the fact that they're just two different sizes. And you can try to compensate for this, but it just adds a whole extra layer of work. So it's just easier to keep the same manufacturer's stuff together. All right, so we have, this is effectively crossed over. We are now going to make the little indentation of this side with the pink. See, nothing too crazy. Those were going to the right. This one just goes to the left. If you were hoping to have more difficult bracelets, I do have some plans for some pretty intense ones, and I will get around to that. Just had a request for making 2 bracelets, so that's something we can look forward to in the near future. But I wanted to be able to have a section for the beginners, anybody who's just getting started, that, you know, they've gotten past the ability to do a chevron and now want to have some kind of designs. So that's if that's where you're at, these are for you. And hopefully I am getting you the confidence you'll need to get towards those more advanced designs. Okay, so we now have the pink as far as it needs to go. Bring this one down. See, it's just getting kind of fewer and fewer each time, right? So now there's only 2 of this. And then just the one pink right here in the middle. Now, like I was showing you before, once you have that one, right, we close this back up, and that will make this little segment look like a number 8. Now the fun thing about that is, if you were making these for a Chinese audience, or you're into their mythology, 8 is an auspicious number, meaning it's lucky. So, by right, a bracelet like this would be considered very lucky. So, this one down. And I think you can see, oops, sorry about that. I think you can see the pattern is really forming. Now this would be fun as a double wide. I didn't lay that out on the drawing, and perhaps Monday we'll get around to that if I get any requests. But a double wide, you could put the 8 here and then do another one in the off space where this has a diamond coming in, there could be one over on this part. So that would be kind of fun. And I think that actually brings us to an interesting topic. If you have a pattern that's fun, that's something you like, say like this, finding all the different variations of that pattern can be a wonderful exercise. You can explore different ways of making it so that way it keeps it fresh. Me personally, I would hate if somebody said, I want 100 bracelets that are all the same. That would probably be my worst nightmare. I'd probably do it because, you know, making bracelets isn't exactly the most earning way of making money. It's really probably more a hobby than anything. But doing it again and again, where's the challenge? Sorry about the bumping, man. I get lost in my thought. I don't watch where my hands are going, so really bad habit there. I'm used to having a little more space, and having a camera right in front of me is like not something I'm used to. Well, 30 years plus, so yeah, kind of got used to just doing whatever. Alright, so there's their figure 8. And now, I was telling you before, like there'd be like an X, right? So that way you can start this color off again. So let's put that in. Now, what I was pointing out earlier with the Chinese New Year one, right, is where this pink crosses would be the next dot where how the other one went, right? So when you're trying to measure them up against each other and you're looking at how that worked, that's where that is. Now, I'm going to do this just because I'll show you how this will save us just a little bit of time. Now, most of you, I would imagine, would have brought the other pink down before picking up this, right? I'm going to show you something neat. Okay, so that comes all the way to the end. This one does that little diamondy bit. So you can already tell this video is getting long. Completely apologize. It's not meant to take up all your time. I suppose if you don't mind me sounding terrible, you could always play this at faster speed. That would be kind of weird, but I think you'd still get the gist. Okay, so now I'm bringing this one back out, and I'm sure you might have guessed this. How you'll save time is going to the right is nice and fast, and if we don't stop halfway and then start it up again, it just makes it a bit more of a easy rhythm, right? So I can just bring this now straight across from the left all the way down to the end on the right. And looking for little moments that help to do that will actually make it go a lot faster and feel a bit more rewarding, I think, because you get this sense of satisfaction in knowing that you're killing it. So should be able to see how that X is playing out. And now we just have this little segment over here, and the whole thing starts again. And at that point, I will speed up this whole video process by running it in time lapse, because let's face it, these things kind of get long and drawn out, and there you have these long pauses because I have no idea what I should say. So it just makes our lives a bit easier, I suspect. Alright, then bring this to the left. Pink will come down to finish that little X. So if there's any bracelets I've made or bracelets you've seen and you're looking, mind you, I'm not real keen on just taking apart somebody else's designs without first getting some kind of permission or whatever. So if you want me to take apart somebody else's design, you might want to talk to that artist first, because if they're adamant against it, I probably won't do it. But if they're cool with it, they say, yeah, sure, let's have Kevin do a video, I'm game. Looking for suggestions, because the only reason this took so long was I couldn't make up my mind what to do next. So, alright. There we have it. And now this segment will repeat itself again, and well, you get the idea. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this and get some time-lapse going. See you at the end when it's all finished. Alright, bye. Alright, so this concludes this video. Hopefully you gained something and you're ready to make some crazy eights, or maybe some other Celtic designs. Hopefully I can come up with some kind of other ideas. I think actually I might try doing this in a tube form, and then we can actually explore that idea of doing something in the relief spaces that we go off to the side. So maybe we'll do that next. What do you guys think? Give me some ideas, post some suggestions, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, don't get your strings in a bunch.